Good evening. This is Dr. Bill Wyatt again with the American Orthodontic Society, and I want to talk to you about some cases that you don't want to extract on. You can broaden their arch out and bring the facial structure back in and make it look good, even though you have not extracted teeth in it. Now, this is a TMJ case that we felt like we didn't want to take any teeth out on her. So we did this procedure where you've got narrow arches like this and you widen them out. And as you widen them, you bring the front part of it in and it still looks good even though you've expanded the arches in here. So watch it and you can see how it is. And there are some cases you're going to run on that really you shouldn't take any teeth out on them. You can just broaden the arch out. They're usually very narrow arch people. So let's just see what we have here and how it works, and maybe this will help you in some of the cases that you might have. Here is the lady. I think we probably already started here. She worked in the office. Now, I don't have anything on her at this particular time, but here are her models. And she had a joint problem too, so we had to advance her mandible some. And the mandible is pretty crowded. This apparently is after we worked on it some. Now this is a class 1 on the right side of the mouth. It's a really good class 1. And on the left side is slightly about a half class 2 on this side. And then when we look at the upper arch, it looks pretty well aligned and everything looks pretty good on it, but it's a pretty narrow arch, and we're going to try to expand it some, bring it in something like this, you see. And you can watch how it looks. But this keeps us from having to extract any teeth because she looks a little too full when it was that way, and she didn't like that. So let's look at the lower arch. Now, it's even more of a V shape in here, and we're going to come in and widen it out too and expand it, but yet bring it back in some like this and come back over on this side, and we don't have to take out teeth on it. So that's a helpful thing for some people, and you may need to do that sometimes. So that's why we're putting that in here. All right, here it is, and we have expanded it, and it spread these out like here, and this expansion, we didn't have a lip bumper in here. I should have had that in there. Anyway, this tooth is kind of coming through the bone structure right there just a little bit. Let me go back and show the tooth prior to that. You see how I think this is the one that is coming through, and we expanded it enough, or maybe it was this central right here. Let's go back now. We'll see. Oh, it was the left central kind of penetrated the bone structure. Now this is a good case where you go do something like this if you run interference for these teeth right here. In other words, you have a soft vascular bed. This probably won't happen if you could torque this tooth better. In other words, bring the root in right here and had the crown coming out further, this would have helped too. Now you can look at this when we get through it. It's not quite as bad as it is right there. So anyway, we spread it out, and we didn't take any teeth out. We expanded the mouth, and you had to bring the mouth forward to solve the joint problem, get the condyles ahead so they wouldn't press onto this retrodiscal tissue. So as we brought the jaws forward in here, we had to put something underneath the teeth back in here to support them. So we use these bonded blocks, but this is a pretty complicated way of doing a case like this. Now we pull the teeth out and bring the midlines off, and we're going to torque this tooth. I hope you understand we're going to change. It's coming down like this, and we're going to change it back like that and bring this root back into the bone structure as much as we feel like we can do it and keeping it look good. Okay, so this is just a closer view of that, and we're going to torque this in. It's hard for me to draw an arrow like that, but this will change the position of this tooth. Just rotate the roots in, and this will come out slightly, but we'll have to line all that up again when we get that torque in there. Now the upper teeth look okay here. These are little plastic brackets. Now here the expansion of both arches. And I forget how old this lady is, but she's in her 50s, I'm sure. And we expanded these arches and brought them out. But I did not use a lip bumper down here, so I got a little coming through the root structure. The bone is too thin. Now on the cheeks, it doesn't matter, and up here it doesn't have as much effect on it, but we widened both arches out. In other words, we took it like this and we spread it, and it brought the front of the teeth in, and so we didn't have this pooching out of the front of the face on this lady as we would have if we had not widened this out. And let me go back here and erase that. She worked in the office and was a sharp lady, and she moved to another town and went to work for an orthodontist there. Here we are. We've put this in. Now we're bringing this jaw forward, and we're going to have to bring the molars together back here, which is a pretty hard job to do. It's best just to let them be free and erupt together, and they'll do that too. So sometimes now we just stop this right here, but here we took and raised this tooth up and brought it in contact with that one there, and then we took this off. It's best just to wear this and let these teeth erupt together and then come in and take the bonded block off where you advance the mandible like we did. So here this is again, there it is if you want to see it. Now this looks so complicated it probably scares everybody off of the case. But what we're doing, we would take this arch wire and go in and raise it up. But that's a lot of work. You could just absolutely leave this tooth alone, and you're hitting on this up here, and this tooth will come up, and this will come down, and they'll join in right there, and just give it some time, and it'll do that without doing all this wire bending that we did here. That does look complicated there, and it is pretty complicated. But, we got a good result in there, and we've got our arch wire up like this, and these teeth are in contact, so we'll come in and you cut this thing, just make a groove down the center and squeeze it together, and it'll pop that acrylic off the teeth. Had one person come and take the course. I think he was an orthodontist, actually, and he wanted to know how we got the things off, Now here it is after we've finished. This is several years after we finished, and we've torqued this tooth in a good bit, so this is not as bad, but that should have been torqued a little more right here than it is there, but that's not bad. This is 1990, and I think that we started the case. This is 1990 also, I think, 90. And that's class 1 on that side and class 1 on the other side. So we had to kind of shift the jaw around for that. Let me see, now that's the upper retainer. We're going to fix her one with a ramp on it. And here's her facial structure after we finished. And the broadening of this out does not distract from the aesthetic things. And so she certainly is not too protrusive, but she was pretty protrusive. I didn't get a picture of that, but the smile is good. And here are the teeth in 1992, and this has gotten better. Down here, I think she got a little bone graft, a little tissue graft down here at the base of it, and it looks good now. But I should have used a lip popper on the bottom down there. Okay, that's the way it looks in 92, and that's in 92 again from the side, and that's the retainer in there, 92. And there we have a night retainer we have her wear with a ramp that keeps the jaw forward right there. And I think I compare that holds the bottom jaw out there for a period of years, and that will keep the condyle forward like that without it going back. Now, okay, and this is the bottom in place, and I think, let's see. Okay, then we'll show them posing. This is the 1987 models, and there it is in 96. So that's after we finished it, and that's a good many, that's a few years after we got out of it. There it is, 97, it was in class 1, and it's in class 1 right now, though we can't shoot it from the side like that. Same thing over here, this is class 2, but it's class 1 now. And there's the upper arch when we started, and there it is after we finished. I know it made it a little bigger, but it is spread out quite a bit. And there's the ramp we used to hold the jaw forward, and that's 1996. We did that. Now here it is, 87. You can see the narrowness of the jaw now. It's more like this. And now we're going to be at something like this. We'll probably come out broader than that. So this is a little trick that some of you might use in your aesthetic, trying to keep them taking teeth out or something like that. And so anyway, this is the way we finish the case up. And there it is after before we started. And there it is. We put a bonded 3-to-3 on there. This is 96. The other's 87. And here she is. And that's the end of this video. I appreciate you watching this. And I hope we can get the American Orthodontic Society. We're doing some webinars now and getting people all around over the world actually can take these webinars. And we have 2 people in the American Orthodontic Society doing that now, and we hope to get more. We hope you will join our group and subscribe to it. And we appreciate you watching, and I hope you picked up something from this case. Thank you very much, and I'll close out here now.